I'm Dr. Jaime Galvestan. I'm professor at the University of the Philippines, Manila. And we're part of this consortium of researchers called Lakehead, which is actually the knowing the environmental impact of the Laguna Lake on food security and health of the population of Laguna Lake. And we're doing this in cooperation with the Research Institute for Humanity and Nature and together with UP Los Baños and the Laguna Lake Development Authority, including the local governments of Laguna and Santa Rosa area, and at the same time with the communities of Santa Rosa. The project is really about studying the environmental effects on human health of Laguna Lake, not only the lake but also the terrain, which means also the watershed. And while there have been so many studies on the pollution of the lake or the result of environmental degradation, which means rapid urbanization, cutting down of the forests, or conversion of agricultural land into factories or residences. There has been no study as we have reviewed the literature, no or relatively few studies on the effects on the pollution and the environmental degradation of Laguna Lake and the watershed areas on human health. So the significance of this study is that this is the first ever systematic study of the effects of environmental degradation on human health as well as food security along the lakeshore areas of Laguna Bay.
Who are your partners in this project?
Okay. We'd like to say that, of course, our major partner are from Japan, the Research Institute for Humanity and Nature, and with the Yokohama National University, together with the Ministry of Education of Japan, because they are the ones who have supported the research for this particular work on Lakehead. In the Philippines, we have also partnered with the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, for the environmental effect. And we had to also partner with the Laguna Lake Development Authority, being the policymaker as well as the implementer of policies and changes that need to be made out of the research in Laguna Lake. Now, while there is a national agency, the ones directly affected are people on the ground, meaning to say communities, barangays, people's organizations that are on the lakeshore. And in this particular case, we took the watershed of Santa Rosa and Silang, which means to say there are 4 municipalities involved in the watershed of this Silang, Santa Rosa. And that means the municipality of Silang, municipality of Santa Rosa, municipality of Cabuyao, and the municipality of Binyan. So they are very well our partners, the local governments of these 4 municipalities. More intently, among the 4, we have focused a lot on Santa Rosa. So we are working with the City Health Office, the City Environment Office, the Office of the Mayor of Santa Rosa, as well as the communities, at least 11 barangays. We made a random sampling of the many barangays, which means we had lakeshore barangays, midstream barangays, upper barangays, upland barangays also, along the along the Silang Santa Rosa watershed.
What were the project's activities or accomplishments, initial accomplishments
Mhm.
during the project?
Initial accomplishment is we did a survey of the effects on human health, particularly on heavy metal toxicity. So we did measurements on lead as well as mercury among the population. And this is, of course, after doing a basic household survey of the 11 barangays in in the four different sub-regions of the watershed, meaning the upstream to the downstream to the midstream. And after finding out the results of these 11 barangays, we decided that we will focus more intently on the four barangays where we felt there was evidence of heavy metal toxicity of mercury as well as lead. This investigation of lead and mercury came from the previous study done also by the UP College of Public Health as well as UP Los Baños that there were existing already pollutants in the fish as well as in the vegetables like kangkong growing in the lake. And at the same time, among the 11 barangays, we used the information to look at food security issues of the whole watershed as they are being affected by the degradation.
What were the initial or future and possible impacts of your project to the community?
Well, for the first time, we are revealing that children, particularly school children ages 6 to 12, and their mothers are now affected by heavy metal toxicity of alarming proportions instead of lead and warning proportions in terms of mercury. So what we're saying here is that we need to mobilize both at the level of Laguna Lake, Santa Rosa local government, and local communities of Santa Rosa and the rest of the watershed communities to act on the effects. And these effects have been on mainly mental intelligence and the capacity of children and their mothers to respond also intellectually to certain what we call appreciation of responding to mental and intellectual issues. So we found that by subjecting them to 5 global parameters that most, if not all, of the children with heavy contamination of lead in their blood and mercury are all deficient in some way or the other in their intelligence quotient plus 4 other tests. The other findings that we have had is that with the deficiency of food production in the area, we are seeing also a good number of malnutrition, particularly protein calorie malnutrition, and also micronutrient malnutrition among the children, preschool and school age in the watershed area. We're also looking that historically, the abundance of food grown locally and grown fresh have been diminishing over a period of time. Now, all of these have implications on the future of Laguna Lake and the watershed of Silang, Santa Rosa. And therefore, action must be done at the local level, both communities, barangays, people's organization, as well as the local government. And of course, this would require also the cooperation or the supervision of the Laguna Lake Development Authority being the authority of the place, as well as the Department of Health at the regional level. We hope to also engage the Department of Environment and Local Government and the Department of the Interior and Local Government for a concerted effort, both national, local governments and communities and academic academic researchers and scientists to work together for a better future for Laguna Lake.
The additional topic.
Well, we hope to see that while we indeed only studied the Silang Santa Rosa watershed, it would apply to the rest of the 23 other watershed communities of Laguna Lake. And we hope that there will be a Laguna Lake-wide movement steered up by this particular research and, in fact, what we also call innovative policy development, meaning to say, in the development of the policies, both for Laguna and Laguna Lake and the local communities, that people themselves have participated. So this is what we call public participative development in the creation of policies in local government, which is what we truly want, a transdisciplinary approach, meaning to say professionals, researchers, policymakers have gone beyond their disciplinary backgrounds and work with the communities and the people and the decision makers of Laguna Lake.